There we go. Perfect. Um, so I'm gonna flip over to this screen here. You can guys can see. So basically, I have a YouTube channel, right? This is where this is gonna go live. See, like you can see, it's converting over, right? Um, and so the YouTube channel is just it's ATA down here underscore trader. If you guys can subscribe, the beauty, I love TikTok, right? And YouTube's great too, but the advantage of YouTube versus TikTok is that when you subscribe, if you have your alerts on, it's gonna pop up anytime I post a video or an update on my ATAs or any of the training, anything, right? You don't miss a video. Whereas TikTok, you have to capture into that algorithm. You don't always see every video that I put out. Um, TikTok's been interesting, man. I talk about the same thing over and over, and yet I have three videos taken down in the last like week. Um, I will give TikTok a little props. They are better at it because I have disputed all three of them, and all three of them I won, and they put them back. So they're I think they're trying to fix their algorithm, but it's just annoying, right? Because I may put out something really good that you like that. Um, I got my infinity window going on here. That you aren't able to get because it just never popped up, right? So that's why, I recommend you guys get on YouTube. Better yet, if you come into the community, all these YouTube things here, if you go into community events, and you can do this for free. This is part of signing up for free. You come into community events and you can watch these things directly, from the community events, right? And they got the dates on each one of these, right, as it pulls it. So, and the nice thing with these is, you can watch it directly from here. So, the only downside, if you watch it from here on like a live event, these are great for videos. You can't comment, whereas if you're subscribed to the YouTube, you can comment over here. So, um, just a little update there. So we did put out market insight. When you click on this one here, this is where you're going to see the insight for this morning. You can see April 18th, that out this morning. Um, and you can kind of see, we did some kind of key points we were watching. The featured on this one I did was the SPX. And then, just some nice little information. And we're just going to review a little bit of this on this huddle anyway. So, but we get this daily insight for you guys out there, so that way you have an idea of where we see the markets going, and just kind of how I intend to play it. So, um, yeah, so with that said, let's jump into the insights. I do have the SPY up right now. I didn't put on the insight SPY. I typically put SPY or SPX, but because they kind of follow the same. But so the SPY, we actually took. If you notice here, I left some of these lines up here. This is what I talked about yesterday. We had a nice little bear flag, and so I took a put on here. This is where I made about 400, I think it was $40, 480 or something like that. On this put here, I did close it around this level because I did have this anticipation of this trend line holding, which it did. I didn't actually take this call because it was towards the end of market close, and so I didn't want to. I was sure we could go up, but then at the same time, guys, if you zoom out on the SPY, we have actually a rising wedge kind of forming here, right? So it is far enough into here that it could potentially have breaking, through it, and so I didn't want to risk that call. You guys know, I mean, whether it's crypto or stocks, I mean, we have a gap to fill, um, and it's gonna fill, right? It's gonna take some time. So. As far as the SPY, if you're trading some options, we're kind of in the middle of the road. We are approaching, or I'm sorry, where we closed was in the middle of the road. Where the pre-market is right here, right, 416 is pumping like crazy, right? So we're actually right at the top of this wedge here. So what I want to look for, if I'm going to take my put, which is all I'm going to be looking for probably today, is I want to see what it does on this channel. If I start to see a bearish candle formation or rejection here, right? This put will be a massive. This would probably be like a $2,000 put, right? If that rejects off. Now, what I want to do is I want to see if it breaks this line. Because if it breaks this line and it hits here and pumps up, right, then my put would be somewhere off of this next level. Which, if you zoom out, it's a previous high, right, that it had. So that's kind of what I'm watching on the SPY. You may be um, not a options trader or trade stocks, and you may be somebody that trades crypto, and you may be looking at this going like, why are we talking about stocks? Stocks dictate crypto. If stocks are pumping, crypto's pumping. If stocks are falling, crypto's falling. So if we are up here and this channel rejects and it pulls down, our bullish run on our crypto is over, and you should be taking shorts, right? That's why if you are trading crypto, you even if you don't trade options, if you don't trade stocks, you should be studying them. You should be watching the charts because that the stocks are what controls crypto, not the other way around. So let's go back out. I'm not going to touch much on the SPX. These are just some lines and trend lines. I did go to, I think it was the 6 hours where I put it, right? And you can see we do have lower highs on the RSI, right? Pretty significant, and a higher high on the 6 hour that we're following, right? So we are again at the peak of these channels here. Not only at the peak of the channels, but you have here that it tried over and over and over again to break and it just collapsed, right? Fell, like crazy. So this is why, we still have this gap to fill. Could we go higher? Sure. There's a trend line that, goes back this way that pulls up north here. So I mean, we could see as high as, 42, 70 or so on the SPX, right? Before that big rejection. So even if I were to enter a put here today, if it were to come up into this area, I would just double my contracts and ride that sucker back down because this rejection is going to be ridiculous. So a lot of money going to be made on that. So that's where we are on the stocks. Let's look at the Dixie. Um, so y'all know from yesterday we were following this Dixie. Let's go to the 1 hour. We're following this uptrend. We have this downtrend here, and then we were just kind of following. We were following this channel here. So we had the upper, the lower. So let's just kind of revisit this channel and see if there's anything that sticks out for modifications that we need to make. So this one could have been a little bit high. So let's pull this down because we got two peaks that aren't touching. So let's pull it right there. Don't be afraid to adjust your lines, guys. You don't have a crystal ball. I mean, you can only make them as close as you can, right? And then if it doesn't line up, you want to just always confirm your lines. I'm okay with this, even though it broke. This all lines up really well. We don't have this one, but that's okay. And then you can see here it broke, but it reclaimed, right? So let's zoom in and just see how that looks. Actually, let me go back to the 1 hour. So I want to place a line. So you can see here what was once resistance, then acted as support, right? But really strong support, actually. And you can see here this latest wick, which is almost perfect with this resistance line. So I don't have a line there, so I'm going to place one here, and then we're going to put that as support here. So let's put it as green. All right, so now I always get this question like, what time frame do you chart on? 5 minute, 15 minute, hour, 6 hour? I chart on the one that shows me the patterns that I need to see. That shows me the trends that I need to see. If I can't find a long-term trend on 15, I'll go to 30, I'll go to hour. I like the 1 hour. It's kind of like an in-between on the short time frames and the daily. So that's why you see me like a lot of times revert to the 1 hour. Now, if I go to the 1 hour and I'm like, man, I feel like there's more to this. Then I'll go to like the 4 or 6, or even the daily. The daily is like sometimes it's hard to see because you don't see all the touches, so you can't really get a super clear depiction of what it does. So you can see like this, right? It's not as clear to chart it, so you have to go back down to the 1 hour. Um, so let's talk about the 1 hour here. So the Dixie overall, right? If you look at this on its pre-market is pushing north. We had our let's take a look at this. So we did have our push up, right? Think about Dixie as like anything else. We had our push up, we had our gap fill, right? That happened, pretty much overnight, right? Which is what drove the markets north. Now we're hitting our lower trend line, right, with a potential bullish candle. So if we get a bullish over the next hour or so on this 1 hour chart, if you get a bullish engulfing, or not engulfing, a bullish confirmation candle here, right, then that's going to push the Dixie up north in a very big way. However, if we break this and get a, just because you have this, these dojis or indecisions areas, doesn't mean it's going to reverse. You have to have that confirmation. So if it breaks below this line that I drew, right, then we're going to come down and retest this lower green line. So now this green line we just placed is going to be pretty significant because you can see it was strong resistance, strong support in here, came through, strong support all through here, and we haven't quite touched it yet, right? Since Sunday, right? So if it can come down and touch this and hold, there could be, looking at a larger potential, right? We could come down, touch this, hold, right, pump back up like this, like it did here, and create kind of like it's, head and shoulder, right, and then fall back down. It's possible, right? So we'll just kind of keep an eye on these areas here, and that will dictate what the rest of the market's going to do. So spent a little more time on the Dixie than I wanted to, but it's important because, like I said, the Dixie controls the overall stocks and the markets and everything else. This one up here is the VIX. I don't talk about this one a lot. It's more of a measure of fear or comfort in the market. When this goes down, the market goes up. People are comfortable. When this goes up, people are getting fearful and they start selling off. So currently, you can see, I mean, it's down. It's just continuing to hit this bottom. Down at 16.86, guys. I mean, you can see all this green on my indicators. It's going to turn at some point, so which is probably going to be when the gap fill comes. So let's get into the market cap. These were the levels we marked out yesterday. You can see we have our downtrend line that we hit, this one that we hit, and look at this. Right now, so far, we're smacked right up on it. So how did we get back to there? You're probably looking at this like, well, Nick, you said, we're gap filling, it's going to the floor, right? Keep in mind, it's an end or if. So if you remember, I left this arrow here purposely. We had talked about that this whole time. At some point, we were going to revisit the 200, which is this one on the 1 hour. I only really look at the 1 hour for the market cap. And so we revisited that 200, right? We hit it, got a little bit of a bounce, hit it, and then we had a breakthrough down, right, quickly. But this candle got reclaimed. This pattern, right? So if you take this candle here, let's just revisit this, guys, because this is part of stuff we go over in the academy. So you have the 200 EMA. Let's take a look at this candle with a bullish confirmation, right? So I'm gonna flip over back to Bajak and I'm gonna scroll down here. This is what we have. This is all free information here. So let's look for a potential candle. Oh, magical! Look at that, right? We have our hammer with our bullish confirmation. We have our hammer with our bullish confirmation, right? So not only the candle patterns ended up bullish, right? We had our double bottom, right, on that, and then we flipped above these EMAs. If you notice, look at like we talk about the market, it tells a story. We went above these EMAs, but notice how the volume was sort of small. The moment it closed above these EMAs, look, boom, everybody goes long. I mean, it goes nuts, right? And that's what causes these spikes. So if you're going to try to FOMO into anything, right, this is that area you want to do it because typically that's what everybody's doing. You're just riding the train. You can see we're starting to reject off of this line already here. I suspect here's my end or if, right, to watch today. If we break above this line here and we form some support, right, then we need to look for these higher levels. We're going to get a pretty good pump. If we continue to reject, right, like it's looking like it wants to here, and we see a couple hours, right, of rejection, we are likely to come down and retest these EMAs. Now, if we hold support on these EMAs, again, my end or ifs are based off of understanding of candles. If you don't understand the candles, come on into our academy that we're launching Friday, and you'll learn all about that, right? So if we get a support candle right off of this, then we're going to continue north. If we break these EMAs, we're retesting this 200. Then look again. If we get the bullish reversal candle patterns, then we're going to push back north. We are not bearish. We are not fully ready for a gap fill until we break this 200 on the 1 hour. We have to break that. It's got to not only just break it, right? But there's no confirmation, nothing held. There's nothing here that says like, hey guys, like we broke it and we're going to hold. This is a trap move, right? It pushed, people made their money. Most traders closed their stuff here, which is why you got that pump. Market makers said, hey, let's push it one more time. They pushed it one more time. A bunch of people took it short here because they didn't wait for confirmation, and then now they're trapped, right? Or possibly liquidated, depending the size that they did. But look at the pullback already a little bit. So that's where the market cap is, guys. That's what I'm looking for. For Bitcoin, you guys know, you could look at everything we do is recorded. We did play this short here. Let me mute my harmonic one, like always, so you can see it a little bit easier. So we did play this short here, which we did really well on. You can see here again, you have a bullish pattern. So you have the double bottom, right? And then you have the breakout, the retest of the same side, the bigger breakout. Now, we did have a little bit of a trend line I was following here, which we did break. So even though we're pulling back a little bit on this trend line for Bitcoin, if we come down and we retest this as support, which was once resistance, then we're going north. And we're going to come up and retest this line around 31,075. If we can break below this line and lose support on here, right, then we're likely to come back down this way. So now keep in mind, right, from a smaller time frame, we had our pump and we had our gap fill, right? It's not the larger gap fill, but it is a smaller time gap fill considered, right? So with this could be a reversal. What you would want to look for here, if we're going to continue north, right, you would want to look for some kind of higher high here from this previous shoulder. That would give you a higher high, come back down for retest for retest of this area, or a higher low, and then that would probably be what would drive us north. Again, it's very dependent on news, very dependent on what the stocks do. So, but as you guys have known, we look at this, so we are definitely way overbought. We haven't quite flipped bearish yet on that, but we are overbought. So support is way down here, on the higher time frame, 15-minute. So from the zone tracker. But this should have been your bullish signal. If you're in that short, let's say you're trying to let it ride and you didn't close it here, you would definitely want to close it here because you're potentially forming that double bottom. So um, as far as the low and the high of the day for Bitcoin, I see us, potentially coming down and actually retesting, this 28.9 area, 29K area on a bearish scenario. On a bullish scenario, if it holds here, I see us getting as high as 31, around 31,028, 31,074, somewhere in there as a retest here, which I think will likely fail, and will drive us back down. So that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin. I still, again, guys, I'm gonna preach it until we see it, right? Although we had a gap fill on a smaller time frame, right? Same thing here. We had a pump, we had a gap fill, right? I think right here. We had a pump, right? So if you just take from here, pump, gap fill. So these littler ones are filling. They always fill. We have not done the larger one. Sometimes I get comments, they say, well, you've been saying gap fill for 4 days or a week or whatever. You guys got to understand when it comes to trading, it's not, so one, we don't have crystal balls, right? But even from a technical standpoint, if I look at a small time frame, 5 minute, 2 minute, you can expect to have that play out within hours or within days. You go up to the 15-minute, that could be days, could be weeks. You go up to the 1 hour, it could be weeks, could be days, could even be a month, right? Because the higher time frame you go, the larger measure of time. So think about from the gap fill, right? We pump up, comes down, and oh, hey, it finally gap fills over here. This is like middle of May, right? So use your head a little bit on that, right? The larger time frame you're looking at, the play the pattern. I mean, can it go straight down? Sure, but typically that's only going to happen in a news event if it just literally just falls off a cliff, right? For that gap fill. So you have to think about it. The market goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. I mean, it just does that. So let's reverse it, right? Goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. Okay, right here, end of the month, right? So early May. Could be, right? So when I say, oh, our gap filling, and 2 days later people are disappointed because, their short didn't play out, or, they wanted to do a swing signal, right? So, you know, if you're a swing trader or you just want to kind of throw in a trade that you're cool with leaving it there for a while, throw in a short. I mean, we're so high on the range, we're gonna get back to this 25K. Could we? I mean, we could see, guys. Let's continue on this, right? Because people love they always ask about Bitcoin. Let's stretch this out. We could literally hit this, come down, hit this 29, come up, hit this, come down, hit this, and get as high as 32K, right? Look at this resistance level right here on the 1 hour that our indicator picked up. It's like 31.6 to 32 pretty much. So we could get all the way to here before we see the true fall back to the 25, right? 32K. That's kind of where I'm at. I haven't really looked past 32. That's kind of my next target. I think it's a bumpy road. So like it's funny, like I'll sit there and I'll be like, hey, I'm staying short. And people see that and they go, oh, how's your shorts playing out? Right? We're just going long. I'm still making money because I'm a scalper. I take these rejections. And guess what? When we're in the high range like this, right? When we're in this higher range, every time it pushes up, it rejects just as hard. And I ride it down. I don't try to capture both ways. I don't need to capture both ways, right? If I see an opportunity like, a double bottom or something, I mean, obviously I'm going to take it. But again, you guys know my risk of fighting this trade. If I'm taking longs, I'm setting pretty tight stop losses. If I'm taking shorts, my volume is usually pretty good that I can just ride it out. I'm not super concerned about it. So, but that's kind of where I see Bitcoin. You can see a lot of really thick green here that has to be broken between the 26.5 and 28K range. So if you're looking to take a long, but you're like, I feel like it's a little too late. I missed the train. You're not comfortable with shorts. Just sit out. Let's wait a second, right? The market's not going anywhere. Wait till you get into this support range. Any kind of long in this range, after we have our up, over, down, right, is going to be really, really good. So, but I just, if you want to ask me, I always get this like, well, people talking about bull market. Nick, should I buy Bitcoin right now? I wouldn't. I'm not buying. I mean, I bought my stuff back when it was like 15 and, 17, and I bought a little in 20, but at 30K, I don't know, these poor souls are going to get wrecked at some point. Um, but just sit tight. If you want to learn how to trade, now's the time to do it. We are releasing our academy, so like I said, Friday, check it out at botjock.com. So let's talk about Ethereum. So Ethereum loves to keep pumping, guys. Even though Ethereum's bananas holding up here at 21K, I can't believe it's holding up there. But Ethereum's is amazing, man. I love Ethereum. So I own a bunch of Ethereum. But at the end of the day, if you look, we're just ranging, guys. We had our peak up, our fall, our peak up, our fall, our peak up, right? Likely to have some form of a fall. I still believe we can hit somewhere around 21.59. That might be the next peak up. If we get anywhere in that zone, guys, I mean, a short's going to be amazing. You can see this teal line here. Let's zoom out and look at that. I don't know. It's kind of thin, so I don't know where I drew that. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're capturing. Let's make this. I must have got lazy on my colors. Let's make this red and like maybe at least a two. So you can see where this is here. And we kind of line that up. I'm probably a little bit high on that. I would probably rather it be like that. See that messes up that peak, but it's likely somewhere in there. It's going to give you a rough target, right? So if we go back into the 1 hour, and then just kind of see where that is, you can see it's right here, right? Which is it's interesting enough. It's right at 22, right? So 22 could be our massive rejection area. So for Ethereum, but we're just ranging, guys. Again, you go to the 1 hour. We have not retested this 200 EMA. We always retest it. I mean, look at the history, right? Even in these runs, right? We retested it. We retested it, retested it, retested it, retested it. We've had a crazy pump. We did not retest it. So we still have to retest that, around 2030 or something like that. We do have a support level here. I can flip this one green since it's now support. So it's likely going to come down and retest that at some point, which is like 2030 or so. We're not bearish until we break this, guys. Like we have not really broke this since, I mean, on the 1 hour, I mean, really like 1500, right? Since we had this move. I mean, it broke it here, but it reclaimed, 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 right? So we have not really broke that. So we would want to see a break below this 1 hour 200 EMA and a double top, some form of like solid reversal, right? And then, man, the down is going to be crazy. I mean, you can see once you get through this green and a couple of these trend lines, right? The really heavy color zones where a lot of the support is somewhere in the 1700 range, which is why I was calling that. Um, the most important thing at us or with us in Botjock is I'm not just going to throw out numbers. If you guys see how I show you this TA, we truly want to teach you. We want you to understand why did I say 1700, right? I mean, anybody can just throw out numbers, and then it's 50-50 chance, right? If it goes there, great. Hey, I knew it. Okay. But, I mean, it's like, think about like, we can do a math problem. I can use a calculator, tell you the answer, and be like, oh, yeah, I knew exactly what that was, like top of my head. And you know no difference. But if you say, well, show your work, I can't show you how I got there, right? We want to show you how we got there. Um, so that's kind of where we're at. Again, looking at the 1 hour divergence, I mean, look at these crazy lower lows, but yet we're kind of peaking at the same. So it's divergence is building, guys. I mean, oh man, and it's gonna be wild. And I feel terrible because the longer I trade, and the more I see this stuff and I go through influencers and stuff and everybody telling everybody, just buy, buy. Oh, guys, we're going to the moon. Like, just buy it right now. And I'm like, all these poor souls are going to get wrecked. So it's going to be wild. But yeah, that's where I see Ethereum, guys. I only got about 5 minutes, so I'm not going to spend too much time, but let's just take a quick look at it. Let's look at LTC. We did have a pump up, right? So I haven't even looked at this, guys, to be honest with you. So they could be caught. No, actually, look at this. All right, LTC, love it. So let's look how this did this, man. Oh my gosh, look at this. I didn't even look at this. So LTC, look at this. Took this short. Amazing, right? So for those who don't know, this is our automated trading assistance. 100% automated. I set settings. I honestly got super lazy. This is the first time I opened it since yesterday. So it took the short yesterday here. Look at how patient it was on the pump. It did not take it to here. Only had to one DCA, got right back out. Shorted it in one DCA, boom, TP3. I mean, what a freaking great play by LTC. So, I mean, I'm at 101.62 and I'm short only, and I'm not even stuck in anything after this pump. And that's why people funny they say, well, because I get emails and stuff. People like, you talk about going short only, but when we pump up, like, how do you not get stuck? Well, because our ATAs are amazing. I mean, you guys see it. I'm not hiding anything. I mean, you guys want to check the videos yesterday. I mean, it's the same setting. I mean, look, or open it. You can compare. I don't modify nothing. I don't change nothing. You can look at the start date, right, which I put in there. I think a little bit back when we reset it. I mean, it's all automated. This is going directly to my account. I don't touch it. It's making these trades. Um, just freaking impressed on LTC. Okay, let's see. I don't know what else is stuck. So I know my ETH is still stuck. So I'm not even gonna. Well, actually, let's look at it. I don't think it would have DCA'd yet. No, it wouldn't have DCA'd yet. Because remember, we did add a third DCA on it. But let's see where it's at. Oh, it's really close. So here's the line. So yeah, it's just stuck, right? Here's my take profits. Here's my line. ETH is just being ETH trading sideways. So that's okay. We're earning on other ones. Let's take a look at Matic. I think I'm still running Matic. I stopped one of them. No, I'm not running Matic. Aave, ETH, LTC, and Sol. Okay. Well, let's look at it. Matic actually wouldn't be doing too bad if I kept running that, but I didn't really like where it was holding support, so now that I remember, we stopped that one. So, and if you guys are, if I'm going too fast for you, you guys can watch these recordings, but if you just click load layout, because of the sake of time, I'm just trying to hurry up. We actually stopped Doge. We do have Solana. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana doesn't look too bad on the chart. Probably okay. Yeah, one DCA, right? It's stuck a little bit. They rode this train down, did pretty well in 2 days. 14 bucks. It's in a DCA one. Do I have a DCA two? No. Let me see if I change this to a five. So this is just percentage. That's all I'm doing here. And I add a second DCA. Let's see where it puts that line. Keep in mind I have a stop loss in there, right? So my stop loss is here. Where we are in this range, I think I might add this, guys. I mean, I have the stop loss there to protect a big movement anyway, so I'm going to give it one more chance to move out. Anytime you make a settings change here, you just go to your little clock up here, the alerts, right? I'm going to delete my alert. That's the alert is what sends it the signal to our servers to initiate the trade on your exchange. That's how it works. ATA Gambit. Sol short. Okay. So all I'm doing is think about it this way, right? There's three parts to what you have to set up. It's not really hard. I mean, it may seem complicated, but it's not. You have a layout, which we never change once we create it. It's Sol live ATA. You have the indicator, which is right here. This is where you get the full control of the settings, right? And you have the alert. This is what sends the signal to our servers to initiate that trade. That's literally all it is, three parts. So anything I change in here, I have to modify here. I have to change this, right? I have to delete it because it won't know. The alert is like, I use the analogy of a letter, right? The alert is like you wrote a letter, you put it in an envelope, you put it in the mailbox, right? Then you go home and you go, oh, wait, I forgot to say something in the letter. I need to rewrite it. And you rewrite the whole letter, but then you set it on your desk and you don't take it to the mailbox. How does it know that it changed? It doesn't, right? So unless you go back to the mailbox, you take the letter out and you put the new one in. It's kind of like this, right? You're going to the mailbox, you're taking it out, and you're putting the new one in. So these are your settings. This is your letter, right? And we have all training videos for you guys. I'll talk about that briefly once we get done here. So you have Solana, not too bad. We added the second DCA, so we'll see how that plays out. And then Aave is my last one. You can tell with this, it's probably not too bad. One DCA, not too bad. Avi's done pretty good, like 5 days, 62 bucks, man, I'll take it. And it's pulling back now. I'm gonna do, I still think we're kind of in the top of the range. So let's see if I add a second DCA to Aave as well. Let's see if it would have put it here or if it's slightly above. It's thinking about it. Yeah, slightly above, so we're good. Let's do the same thing with Aave, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and take that second DCA. The third one I will not take, but second one I'm okay with going in. ATA Gambit. Oops. Aave. Short. And you see how quickly I do this, guys? I mean, you're doing the same things over and over. This is right here, we have a double top bearish candle too, so I think we'll be okay. We might not even hit this, but we'll see. But you see how quickly I did that? 4 pairs. Went in, checked it, modified it. I make sure that these all line up and I'm done. I mean, that's literally how fast, and then I just go back to trading. So I'm done. So let's look at, before I cut this off, let's see where we are. So we have a custom indicator that we use on our admin team. It's the Pro for Harmonic Tracker. It helps just kind of tell where the market's going and gives us the entries. This is where we do our signal calls from. So you can see the long that it took actually played out really well. It actually would have hit TP4, right? We didn't put this call out in the room, on that, but I typically, sometimes I'll put calls out there early like that, but I like for market to open just to really see what it's doing. So this has not flipped bearish or short, so I would be really careful taking it short right now. It's not quite there. If you're in the community, the moment I see this short flip, I'll throw it out there because I do think it's going to be a great short. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to delete some of these arrows. And let's put back on the harmonic tracker. All of our indicators are custom too. You cannot find these, so don't search for them on TradingView. You have to, it's invite only from our community. Now look at this long it called right here. So and it's funny because I do get comments sometimes. I say, man, all you talk about is this long. Like, what about the short here that it called, right, on this thing? Yeah, but you there's so much more involved, right? So you have EMAs here, you have higher highs, higher lows, you have, tons of support lines in here. I mean, what tells you that this is a great short? Not a lot. Even if you took this short, I mean, this movement is about $100, right? So it's a scalp. I mean, you could still make money on that. But look at this. I mean, really crazy. We do have a double top forming, so I would anticipate if this teal line breaks right here, um, then this thing's going to flip into a short. It's going to be a pretty killer short. So it's going to be great. Guys, have a positive, mindset, positive attitude when you start your day's trading. I have found if I come in energetic, happy, ready to roll, rocking the hat today, um, you have a great day. If you come into the market nervous and you're like, man, I don't know, I'm not really sure, you're skeptical, just don't trade. I mean, emotions are everything. If you can't control your emotions and just stick with what you see, if you're stressed about something, you have no business trading because you will get wrecked eventually. So, as far as the community and YouTube side, I appreciate you guys joining. Let me check. I didn't check it yesterday, but let me make sure. Yeah, I didn't have any questions, so we're good on that. Um, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. I do try to keep those about 30 minutes, and I'm 5 minutes over again. But we had a lot of information we covered, right? So I hope that helped you guys out. I'm going to go ahead and stop the streaming on that side, but TikTok.